Okay, we're going to try this again with my screen painted the right way. These are my sons doing their work boxes.
Hi.
Hi. So turn around and keep doing your work. Just showing you some real life footage of our work boxes and what we do during the day. The first thing they do is their root words. We do that together. Inside of their root words box is his worksheets that he did. We did the root words together, but then he stores his books in there. And then this is where he keeps his index cards for his root words. This is English from the ground up. Then after that, he does history, which history is what we do together during our together time in the morning before work boxes. But this is where he stores any of his worksheets. This morning we talked about Marco Polo. So then he puts in here at the end of the year, I have it all in there. After that, he does math. Math he did with me. He would check math every day on our agenda over here, and it says check with mom. So he has to check with me to see what he has to do. Today we did a video, and then I gave him a worksheet, and he stored the worksheet in here. This is his notebook for practicing math. He just has a separate one. And then all of his extra worksheets, when he's done with them, are put in here for storage and for grading if I need to check them later. After that comes science, which is something we do together. Today we learned about Venus. We read that during together time. But then in his science book, he has his science notebook. This is when we were talking about don't stare at the sun. So he wrote up his little essay about that. And then also his models, when we did anatomy, those are stored in here also. For the end of the year, it's just easier to be able to get it all out of there. Then right now, he's on spelling. Inside of his workbox is his spelling book and his page for when we do tests. So he has his own spelling book for just his testing. Again, we have different notebooks for each lesson, but can you show me your spelling notebook? He's doing spelling right now. So he has his spelling book that's always in his workbox, but he knows what to do because when he gets to spelling, again, he'll look over at the agenda. We'll say lesson 24, part B, and he'll know what he needs to do for spelling. After he does spelling, he'll get to English, which is what my other son is working on right now. Now, English is one that he does with me because I want to work one-on-one with them, but his English notebook is inside of here. So when he has an assignment for English, he'll come back here and work on it in that notebook. My other son right now is on English, and he's working on his English. He just did it with me, and now he's finishing his assignment that I assigned him after we were done talking about it. After English comes writing. We also have a little 10-minute break thing in here that tells us a little bit about our breaks, and also his writing notebook. We skipped writing this week because we do our writing curriculum every other week. I need to pull out his spelling because he's on spelling right now, which tells me where he is. But we do writing every other week, but he would come over and look at our agenda, and it would say writing for next week. And his writing book is right next to the agenda. So we grab our writing strands book, which is right next to the agenda. And it will tell him which one, because they have different writing books. So it would tell him what page he needs to do, what lesson he needs to do, and that would all be on the agenda. And the book is right next to the agenda. After, I'll push your spelling in a little bit. After writing comes typing. This is an empty box. It's a placeholder box. And he uses typing. Again, he's going to come back and look at his agenda. And the agenda will say 3 screens. He does 3 screens on typing.com, and then he does 3 exercises. Now, the exercises are from our exercise jar, which is also on my blog, which is right underneath the agenda. And inside he pulls out an exercise. Sometimes it'll say like 20 jumping jacks or 10 lunges. But the printables for that are on my website also. And then after typing, so this is an empty box just because it keeps him on track. It gives him a schedule for the morning. Then he would come over to art. Now, today he's just doing art homework from our art class that we're taking right now. Separate art class, an extracurricular one. But usually his art would say from the Draw Right Now books. And he would come over again and look at our agenda. And it would say what page. And he would grab his art book. And the art books are again next to the agenda. And he would open it up. And these art books are great. So yesterday he did the samurai, or last week, because we were learning about ancient Japan. So he would have his assignment over here. He'd get his book, he'd take it to his spot, and he would do that independently, which is great because while he's working on art, I could be working on math or English with his brother. And then his last one is piano. Now, piano is our music box. We have done a couple different things. This is a placeholder box, just like our typing box. Keeps him on track of what he's supposed to be doing. Sometimes when we're doing piano, there's worksheets, like music worksheets for him to do in here. But right now we're taking a break from Hoffman Academy, which there's a review for that on my website, to do guitar lessons with their dad. That's also on my website. You can see for music, for his piano, he needs to do his guitar transitions and he needs to practice for a full 15 minutes. So that's our day. That's our workbox day. And you can see kind of how that keeps us on track, how everything is all close together. Every box has its own storage, has its own notebook, and it keeps them on track of what they're supposed to be doing for the day with very little reminding on my part, which is really helpful. So you guys can say hi.
Hi. Hi. Hi.
Say bye.
Bye.
Bye. We hope this helps somebody.